YouTubers! Today I'm going to be showing you how I do my etch glassware. So here is one that I've already done. And if you can see, there is a cute little gecko on my glass. Now it won't rub off, it won't wash off, it won't scratch off, nothing. So what we're going to be using today is Armour etch cream that you can get from Hobby Lobby or any craft store. So I'm going to be using this wine glass. I'm going to make two. I have a set of two. And the first thing I recommend is giving your glass a good wipe down. You can use alcohol or any kind of cleaner that you have. It just gives the surface a good, clean surface to work with. So now that that is done, I've already got my image cut out using my Cricut and Cricut Design Space. Now, when you take your image and you cut it, you want to use, it's what we call negative space. So I'm going to show you this. This is my image, and I took out the middle piece. Now I'm going to cut this down the center and cut these two images in half because I'm going to be using both of them for each cup, so one for each cup. So now I have this little image, and of course it cut the tail because for some reason it put the tail together. And so I'm just going to tape that little section off. Now I'm going to cut the rest of this off to where it's just a tiny little image. And I don't have much, space to deal with. So here is my image, and it's a cute little tokay gecko. So I am going to use my transfer tape, which is just a little roll of transfer tape. I got it from expressionsvinyl.com. I will leave a description below. I will leave a link below in the description. So here is a piece that I've used a couple times. Just a little square. And I'm going to put it right over top of my design. And I'm going to use my you can use a credit card, or I have a little scraper here somewhere, but I don't see it. And you just want to smooth it down really good and make sure it's completely stuck to the transfer tape. Now you'll take off the backing. And so now you're left with this right here. Now, as you can see, the tail's a little open. It's okay, because we're going to seal that off. So you want to take your glass, and I kind of want mine to be going around the glass a little bit. So once you get it perfect to go around your glass the way you want it, you're going to want to start pushing in the center. So here's my center. So I'm going to start pushing down just right there all the way down the glass. And then you'll want to work your way over to each edge, making sure you stick near the image as much as possible. It will start curving and turning and crinkling. It's alright. Just work with it the best you can. So I'm going to keep doing this until I can get the entire image flat onto my glass. And it takes a little bit of finagling, but sometimes it goes pretty easy. Like, the straighter the cup, obviously, the better the image. It's not gonna curve a lot and stuff like that. Sometimes it won't go completely flat, and in that case, I try and get it the best I can, just to where I can peel this excess, just to where I can peel the transfer tape back off, and then I'll work with it a little bit more. Sometimes I'll have to cut pieces off to get them to lay flat and to where there's no bumps. So I'm going to peel this off. Make sure it's stuck real good to the glass. Okay. So as you can see, I still have some edges where I have to push down. But as long as I stay near the outline of my edge, it'll work. Now I normally use my little X-Acto knife and just barely make a little cut at one of the points that I know will overlap each other. So, like, say for instance right here at the foot. So I'm going to show you. I made a little cut right here at the foot. That way it can now lay flat and it will overlap the bottom piece. And then you can also do the same up here. I try not to press on the glass as much as possible. So sometimes I will poke through and then go back the other way by making sure I don't push on my glass. And then I'm going to lay one side down and then lay the other side down. And of course this is what I've got so far. I'm going to make a couple more little cuts wherever I have little bumps and where it's not really sticking to the glass like I want it to. And I'm going to make sure I have no bumps at all, because the etching cream will sneak through those tiny little bumps, and your finished product will not come out looking as nice as you would like it to. So a few more little adjustments. And where that little cut was in the tail is no longer there, because I was able to seal that off by connecting these two edges. So now my image is fully on there, and if you can see, there is no bumps around the edges. You want to make sure there's no little bumps around these little edges. You want to make sure it's completely flat and stuck to the glass really good. You can also check from the other side. It's sometimes able to see it better from the other side. Like if you flip the glass and you look on the inside, you can look where there might be air still in a few of the places. So if you like the way it is, then you are ready to start etching. Now, I'm going to take my etching cream. What I like to do is shake it up. Give it a good shaking and stirring. And then you just take any old paintbrush that you have. Make sure it's soft. You don't want it to be hard. And just grab a little bit on your paintbrush. You can wear gloves or not, either one. And I just take and I will paint just like I'm painting paint. And you make sure you get all of the edges. Now you want to go and make sure that you use a heavy amount. You don't want to have any see-through areas. So you want to use a good amount. You want it to be good and clumpy. And I will show you here in just a second. Just painting it on. I'm just covering all of the open areas. Now you want to make sure that maybe the first few times you start doing this, you want to tape off the edges. If you have any close edges, I don't have any close edges to the cup, so I wasn't really worried about that. As you can see, I've got plenty of surrounding area around to where I won't actually accidentally get paint on the cup, because it will stain within a few seconds. It will etch the glass. Okay, so here is my finished piece. And you can see that you really can't see through it. I've used a good amount. And I will put this down and I will wait 2.5 minutes. And at the 2.5 minute mark, I will take my paintbrush and I will just go like this and go over everything. But like when I first painted, I went this way, and now when I paint again, I'm going to go this way. That way it makes sure it gets all of the surrounding pieces that you may have missed. And you'll see it starts to dry. And of course, I'm going to leave that alone. You'll see it starts to dry as it progresses within the 2 minutes. Now, after I paint it, after the 2.5 minute mark, I'm going to leave it again for another 2.5 minutes. And then I'm going to wash it off, and you're going to remove the decal. And once you're done, this is what you will have, and this is what it'll look like. And it turns out beautiful. Now sometimes you'll see if it snuck underneath the edge, you'll see little bumps where they wasn't supposed to be. Like you'll see little drip marks where they're not supposed to be. So you want to practice a couple times to make sure you get it down good on a couple of glasses that you really don't mind. And after that, it will you'll start to get the feel of it, and you'll start getting a little bit better at it. And now, while I'm waiting this 2.5 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and do my other glass because I've got the matching glass. So I'm gonna put a little bit of soapy water in there and get it good and clean. Ignore the kids screaming in the background because they don't mind that mommy is doing a video. They don't care. They're just gonna scream. So I'm gonna rub down this glass really good and get the inside and the outside. I know that I'm not gonna put the etching cream on the outside, but I want to make sure that it's good and clean. And then you'll repeat the step again for the second glass. Keep an eye on the time. Now it can go on a little longer than 2.5 or than 5 minutes total, but all it takes is 5 minutes. Actually, all it takes is a few seconds, and it will stain that glass. But in order to get the full effect of the etching, you want to leave it on for a full 5 minutes. Okay, so now that I've got this glass all clean, and I actually use, and I love how it works, is I use green soap. And it's got 30% alcohol in it, and it just works great. So now that that is clean, I will use that same piece that I just peeled off my other cup. The same piece. It's curly. You just want to flatten it out. And make sure you cut off the excess on this piece too. You want to make sure that it's as small as you can get it, but with still leaving a little bit of excess to where you don't need to worry about accidentally touching the parts of the glass that you don't want to touch. So now I'm going to put this on here. Now normally I will do 2 cups at a time because I've been doing this for a while now and I've gotten pretty good at it. So, and then once you do a few cups, you'll get pretty good at it too. It's pretty easy. It's pretty simple. And then I want this image on this cup to be the opposite of the other cup. So I'm going to turn it this way. And just by eyeing it, sometimes I will look at my glass and I will put them next to each other and make sure they're about in the same spot before I place it down. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on that while I'm still waiting my 2 minutes. Now if you can't get this right the first time, it does take a few times to get the hang of it. And that doesn't mean you're not doing it correctly. It's hard sometimes to do it on these curvy glasses. My favorite glass to do is just straight up and down glasses. Straight, no curves. Obviously, that's the best glass to practice on. These glasses are a little harder to do. So if you are just now starting out, make sure that you get a glass that's good and straight for a few practice to be able to get a few practice rounds in. Okay. Now again, I'm going to do some finagling and cut at a couple spots to get it to lay flat. And I don't know what that hammering is. It's my son in the bathroom being silly. Connor! Can you quit doing that?
It's not me.
Then who is it, honey? So just a little bit of finagling just to get it to lay flat like I did with my other one. Now I'm coming up on the 250 mark. So I'm going to go ahead and sit this cup down and wait a minute. And I'm going to come back to my other cup. Now, it's starting to dry a little bit, so I'm just going to move this around. Like I said, I went this way first. Now I'm going to go up and down. Make sure I get all of those spots that look like it has not hit. And then now you can go ahead and take off some excess and just put that right back in the bottle. Okay, now here's the second glass. So now notice that it is facing in the opposite direction. And that's how I want it to look. So I'm going to go ahead and paint this on. Make sure there is no bumps, no loose ends. Oh, I do see one. So I'm going to go back and check it. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to paint. And just like the first one, I'm going to leave that sit for 2.5 minutes. And now, once your 5-minute mark comes along, you'll take it to the bathroom. And let's say, for instance, this is my piece on my glass once I'm done rinsing it off. So it will be wet, and this will still be on the glass. So once I'm done rinsing it, you're going to put it under the water. It could be cold water, it could be warm water, it don't matter. You're going to put it under the cold water, and you're just going to keep going like this. It's okay if you get it on your hands when you're under the sink. As long as you're under the sink, you're fine. But if it's just on your hands, it will start to burn after a little while. So if you want to wear gloves, that's why I said if you want to wear gloves, it's great. If not, no big deal. I get it on my hands all the time. I just wash it off and it stops burning. No big deal. So anyways, after you're done scrubbing and getting all that stuff off, most of it you can just take your finger and just go like this and scrub it off. And then you will take off your sticker. Now, you won't see the image at first because it's wet. And so once this gets wet, it will no longer show up. So you want to dry it really good. Dry it really good. And then it will start to show. And that is all. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.